Welcome to another interview presented by Alabama Wrestling Forums. I'm Jackson Bass, here with state champ Kyler Adams, recent Midway commit. How you doing today, Kyler?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So let me start out by asking you, what got you into wrestling?
Well, actually, it's a funny story. I tried out for track in seventh grade, and it was really just the cross-country runners that made it, and I didn't make the track team. So I just said, well, I got to do another sport. So I tried wrestling, and then that's really what just got into it was not doing track. So, yeah, that's what got me started into wrestling, actually.
Wow. That's what, so, you look like you could be a track runner, man.
But yeah, I just broke the school record this year, actually, in track.
So you showed up all those guys who beat you out when you were in
Yeah.
So that's absolutely awesome. Obviously, you kind of found immediate success when you hit the mat your freshman year. You placed the highest that anybody on your team did that year. What kind of gave you the confidence to do that your freshman year? Obviously, your freshman year, you're just starting out. All the lights are on you, though. What gave you the confidence for that?
Well, I really trust the process that I train with, and seeing one of my good friends, Mason Blackwell, go out of the tournament made me want to even get even more. So I just knew that with him going out, I had to do it for him. So it was really just doing it for my teammate that went out of the tournament, but also I trained so hard that off season, and I was just trusting my training, and I kept working at it so hard. So yeah, that's really what made me go for it.
So obviously you've trained with River Ratch and TJ Graham over down in Wetumpka. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that Coach Graham was able to give you?
Just really form me into becoming the man I am today. Like, without him in wrestling, I don't know where I would be. Obviously, Warrior Wrestling Club helped me a lot, and Ironclad, but he was just always my main guy that helped me when I was wanting to give up in wrestling. He always pushed me and always told me that I got to keep going at it because he saw something in me, and that just really helped me motivate me a lot. And he also taught me how to wrestle funky. Without that, I'd just be an average wrestler. So I got to thank him for that.
So I'll definitely get back to your funky wrestling style here in a sec. But you mentioned that you've kind of gone to different little clubs. How does kind of, I know people think bad when they hear club hopping. Club hopping is actually a really interesting idea, going to be able to go from club to club, and especially since you're not really tied down to a club. And if Coach TJ goes to these camps, what is the benefit of going to these different clubs?
Yeah, well, actually, to me, just seeing and actually being able to train with other partners, and then also learning different moves from other coaches. It's nothing against I don't like this coach, or I don't like this coach. It's just trying to make me the better wrestler that I want to be in the future. So just training with the other kids, and also just building bonds with everybody in the whole state so I can train back and forth. Yeah.
Do you ever feel like a real, obviously, like I mentioned, people don't necessarily love club hopping. Do you feel any backlash for doing so, or?
Well, a little bit here and there. Some people might think, oh, he's just coming here, or oh, he's just coming here. But I really just go where I'm actually available to go to at the time. It's just a lot to do. So driving an hour or an hour and a half to both clubs is just always a lot. So whenever I can catch a ride to either one, I just try to go to one of them because it's just so much driving. But yeah, I really appreciate all those coaches that have helped me.
Nah, I definitely get it. That's quite a drive from Wetumpka to Alabaster or even Birmingham, where Ironclad is. Mm-hmm. So, obviously, I mentioned that you're kind of a funky wrestler. I remember the first time I talked to TJ Graham about you, we talked about, he's like, Kyler took his wrestling to another level when he started involving his funk. He grabbed a hold of it and kept going. So what's kind of your fascination with funk wrestling?
Well, actually, I was just at practice one day, and I was wrestling with my partner, Xander, and I just did a roll through, and I got a point off of it, and I was like, how did I just get this, TJ? And he was like, that's called funk wrestling. And then ever since then, I just always like to use them. It's always helped me out, but it's nothing to really always want to be relying on. It's just helped me because I'm so tall, and I'm just not an average wrestler. I'm 6 foot at 138, so it's not pretty an average person. So I had to figure out something new to use. Yeah.
So obviously, funk is a little more of a newer style that we've seen in the last couple of years. And, you've seen people like Ben Askren, or even more popularly, Yanni Yakmahalis, who have changed the way wrestling has definitely always been a fight, and it always will be. But, what kind of took you to taking hold of that? Like, I mentioned what was your fascination with it, but is there anybody that you kind of model your funk wrestling after?
Uh, Let me think. Well, not really. It was always I looked at myself like all the kids in my weight class are always way stronger than me, and like me trying to outmuscle them was kind of impossible because, like I was saying, I'm 6 foot at 138, and it's really hard to outmuscle those kids. So I told myself I got to find out something else to do that's gonna help me win matches and outthink them and do other stuff. And funk just it kicked in, and it's helped me ever since then. Yeah.
So obviously, at Wetumpka, you guys have found a lot of success in the last couple years. I know your eighth grade year. It had to have been your eighth grade year. You had a lot of like older kids in the room, like John Ellis Rawls,
Mm-hmm.
both of the Trents. How did having those guys in the room kind of benefit you when you started out at Wetumpka?
It just showed me that you just got to like those guys that were above me. They were just always on us every day at practice. They were hard on us, and it just showed me like to the upcoming people, you got to be hard and you got to be strong. So like it's just a tradition that's been going and going with them. So we got to really appreciate those guys for keeping us in check and then passing it down to us, and then now we're keeping people in check, and just it's just growing and growing, and that's what's just making the program grow better. Yeah.
So obviously, I mentioned that you placed third your freshman year, and then your sophomore year you win your title. Obviously, I don't know if maybe you were the one to be picked. You or Gabe. It was really much of a toss up that year. You guys have both clashed and been really tight most of the time. What was the big jump that you made from going to you placed third to placing first?
All right. It was really just that whole off season with TJ Graham. I just trained like every day. We were in the room just training.
Winning your first state title. Kind of take us through that.
Well, yeah, it was obviously nerve wracking at first, but I just knew that like that whole off season, we started off as Impact and then we worked our way up to River Rat. So it was just like 10 of us in the room every day, grinding every day, like sweat and tears, and I knew how hard I worked, and I was like, man, if I don't win this, like, there's no reason I should be training this hard not to win. So it was really just trusting that training because we worked the hardest we've ever worked that whole off season, and it paid off. So.
I would say it definitely paid off. You guys had 3 state champs that year in you, Xander, and Mason. Talk about how having Xander and Mason in the room, although they're not inherently – Xander's gotten a little bit bigger, but Mason was never around your weight. How did having those guys in the room, even not wrestling you, kind of benefit your wrestling?
But yeah, it was just you see, like, we're all just on the same mission, and you see Mason or Xander or me, like, we're all looking at each other, and who, like, say one day I'm a little tired and Xander's working harder, or one day Xander's tired and I'm working harder. It just always motivated you. It was kind of like a competition. You always just want to be better than him, and it obviously just helped us become better wrestlers overall. So that's what I think about it.
That's definitely awesome to hear. So, obviously Coach Bird is the coach over at Wetumpka. I know he doesn't inherently have a wrestling background, but how does not having a coach with a wrestling background, what are some of the other benefits you guys get from Coach Bird?
Well, he's really hard in the strength and training part. Like, he pushes us really hard every day. And even though he doesn't know that much about wrestling, it's the fact that just like we have a coach that's actually trying to help us. And he does stuff off the mat that a lot of people don't see, like just trying to help us or just watching other people. Like, just he tries to be the best coach that he can. And that's what really shows me a lot of respect for him, just trying to become that good coach and not just being lazy about it and not giving up on us and just yelling at us every day and pushing us to the max. And I got to thank him for everything he does for me. I mean, he even drummed me to the Midway tour to go tour my school. So he's a great man overall, even outside of the wrestling room. He's just always like a father figure to me. So I have a lot of respect for him.
What are you looking forward to most for the future of Wetumpka wrestling?
That's a tough one, but there's so many things. But just seeing all the younger kids starting to progress because, like you were saying, River Rats just started and all those kids, like, they're all starting to get the hang of wrestling and this wanting to make other kids want to wrestle. So I think our program is going to keep building and building and building and growing up. And I think it's going to all make everybody become more successful because obviously we're finally getting somewhere to train off season local. And so I just think that's going to make every wrestler better. And I know a lot of those kids, they looked up to us, so it's just gonna keep being a cycle, and they know the tone to set in the room. So I think they're gonna be great, man. They just gotta believe in themselves.
Are there any kids you think you want to kind of shout out that you think are going to do real things in the future?
Well, I think every kid has potential to do things in the future, but just coming up, I know Chad Strickland, Noah Smith, Christian Preston, they're going to be like the top guys in our rooms, the captains next year. So I think people got to watch out for them next year because they're already training right now, and it's just a lot of people don't think Wetumpka guys are going to do this or do that, but I just know the tone we set in the room, and I think that those are some guys to watch out for next year, and those are going to be the guys that are going to be setting the tone for the kids.
Definitely. And you mentioned Noah Smith, who I know he didn't get the results he wanted at the state tournament this year, just had a phenomenal year overall. What's that kid doing?
Well, actually, I think he's actually training at Ironclad right now. Like, he's always the type of kid that he looks up to you a lot, but he also has such a drive. Like, if he's down in a match or losing, he gets really angry. But that's like, it's not good to be angry, but like he just has such a good drive, and it's gonna want other kids to like. He probably looked up to me and Mason and Xander, but like other kids are gonna start looking up to him now and wanting to be like him because of his drive. And I think he'll be very successful if he just keeps grinding at it because he's got a lot of potential. He's got to learn how to calm down and not be so angry sometimes. Yeah.
So definitely the big question is, why Midway?
Why Midway? That's what a lot of people ask me, but there was a lot of reasons behind it. I had a good bit of coaches talking to me, but it was really just the fact that I really wanted to go to a place that I felt it was an upcoming program, and a lot of people, like Wetumpka for a fact, like a lot of people didn't believe in us, but you got kids coming in there and they're putting in the work, and it's an upcoming program. I think they got a lot of potential that we just keep grinding at it. And also, one of my buddies, Noah Barclay, transferring out of his college, and we were talking, and we both always had a dream like we wanted to wrestle in college together because we're teammates. So it was kind of, he was like, all right, I'm going to do this. All right. And I was like, all right, well, let's do it together, man. Let's make Alabama known. So it's kind of like that right now. It's kind of like building the Wetumpka High School program at Midway again, just being with my teammate. It was a close bond.
Well, that's awesome. Is there anything that you particularly like about Coach Brumbello?
Yeah, it just made me feel like a home when I came there. Like, I liked a lot of other coaches, don't get me wrong, that I talked to or went on visits with, but he was just a very nice guy. He sat down with me. He discussed things with my parents. And I felt like he didn't want me just for a roster spot. I felt like he wanted me to come there to make me a better wrestler and make me a better man overall, just not to just go there and compete and just need an extra person or just needing somebody just to recruit. He just kind of made me feel like he just wanted me to be there and just kind of be like a dad figure to me. So, yeah.
Well, Kyler, before I let you go, is there anything you want to say to my viewers?
Yeah, just if you're a wrestler or anybody in life, just don't let anybody stop you from chasing your dreams, man, because there's going to be a lot of people and a lot of distractions that try to make you stop. But if you really want to pursue and wrestle or anything you do in life and you dream about, just you got to put your mind to it and work hard, man. You'll make it there. But, yeah, that's really all I got to say.
Well, once again, Kyler, thank you so much for doing this. And thank you all you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stay cool, Alabama Wrestling.